7 seconds. All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Also, want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, who's teaching this truth in sincerity, and also who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered four corners of the earth. You know, you so-called Negroes, so-called Latino Hispanics, and so-called Native American Indians. You know, the true Israelites that the Lord is truly dealing with, that's coming out the nation of Israel. Okay, so it's the brother Iwanathan, Great Millstone, Detroit, and I just wanted to do a little add-on of a PSA, public service announcement that Elder Apostle Tahar did when he went to, it was one of the, I got a list of them actually, that they basically got rid of the Apocrypha, and it was basically hackers getting into it, right? So in my spiritually seeing it, this could be a example of famine of the word. So if I can give my wisdom, I would say just get you a hard copy, get you a KJV, get you an Apocrypha, or if you come across some 1611, because the normal KJV doesn't have the 1611, doesn't have the Apocrypha, the 1611 does. All right, but just seeing that happen was, like I said, giving me famine of the word vibes. Because Esau does, control the internet. He can shut down YouTube, so that can be an example of them trying to cut us off from the scriptures. All right, because I'm gonna actually get this. I got Psalms 19, right? And it's just like letting you know that, hey, even it talks about the internet. All right, it says, the heavens declare the glory of Yahweh, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night showing knowledge. So, hey, through day and night, you see brothers constantly pushing videos. Night by night, you seeing them, pushing knowledge, man. So you see that this word is being pushed. You can get this, brothers constantly uploading videos. All right, and it says, verse 3, there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Yeah, because you can get this word in different languages. You can, we got brothers that speak Spanish. We got brothers that speak French. I just was, doing a land back of this particular chapter where there's brothers that teach the word in sign language. If you can't hear, YouTube got the closed captions where they'll have the subtitles, right? But knowing that the children of Israel is waking up, these are making these elites afraid. They're scared. All right. And, just taking away that just goes to show that everything they've done still links up with them. Let me grab this one. Let me get the book of Amos. This is one of my favorite scriptures too. Amos 8 and 11. It says, behold, the day is come, saith the Lord, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but the hearing the words of the Lord. So the internet is just one of the avenues that we do get to get the word, to learn the scriptures. You know, even to this day, you know, I see my head still put in certain words just to help them find scriptures, you know, roughly paraphrase them. But as this is also going to be a way to subtract that, you know, and it's going to come to a point where, yo, they going to outlaw the scriptures. They going to kick the prophets off you know, because DJ Trump calls us, he said we need to get the prophets of doom off the street. Okay, so these are things that we have to pay attention to. Now, hey, study, read, get you some hard copies, because again, they might just do away with all like the Bible apps. So what I've done, I got 2 so far, and I made sure I turned my Wi-Fi off, or I just did my other service. I went to, you know, the website Elder PSA went. I went to the Bible Hub. It was an error. The King James Bible Online, that had an error too. There was still some other apps that were still running. You know, brothers got my sword for the Apocrypha, Blue Letter for, you know, the Strongs. But, you know, you don't, hey man, Esau's been moving really sloppy. But it's, you know, good to take countermeasures. So they say get the hard copy, you know. I was actually going to think about getting a hard drive and started downloading the lessons onto a terabyte, so I can just, whatever I can come across, I can just have it. So when they shut this internet down, hey, I'll still have a computer, and since you don't need internet to run a memory card, hey, you can still watch your videos. Because we've already seen what this man has done. Oh, I just want to get a precept about the Psalms 19 real quick, so let me go back. So, let me read that number 3. It says, there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Okay? It says nor language. I now, Bill gave me Romans the 2nd chapter. No, was it Romans or Acts? Let me check Acts. I think it's Acts the 2nd chapter. Yep. We can start at 3. This is Acts chapter 2 and verse 3. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. Then they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. All right, so basically, say like I went to Japan to talk to the so-called Israelites, foreigners that were there. I don't speak, you know, Japanese, but the Holy Spirit made me utter or speak a different language for them to understand these words. Okay? So, hey, there's no, listen, this words that's coming out now on this side, on these times, we got the, you can get the understanding. All right, verse 9. Their line is going out throughout all the earth, and their words to the end of the world, and them have he set a tabernacle for the sun. Hey, that's our internet, man. We have the internet basically pushing this word, doing the heavy lifting for us. And this word has reached to the basically the end of the world. So let me grab Romans 10 and 17. it says, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sounds went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. So now, we got brothers in UK, we got camps in Canada, camps in Australia, I believe, of course the US, South America. This word has been preached. All right. But getting back to the famine, because look at, like I said earlier, when you get into Job 9:24, the world was given into the hands of wicked. He is in control of everything. And it's finding out that we're waking up. He's going to do everything detrimental to keep us asleep. Even, like I said, get rid of the internet, some of these Bible websites, might outlaw the scriptures, because we got records of what this man does. So let me grab this one real quick. This is Revelations 2:22, and I'll just talk about the parts when they take away from the word. I believe that's 18. No, I'm sorry, it's 19. This is Revelations 22 and 19. And if any man should take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, Yahweh shall take away parts of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from things which are written in this book. Now, when you actually look at the accounts and look at the records in history, first off, when you look at the factions of so-called the illuminated ones or the Illuminati, they have a faction called the Biblical Destruction Group. And Elder Apostle Ramlab got into the history why, of why they removed it, because it actually, was actually going to show how powerful this book was. It gives you the accounts of the Greek captivity, and you actually find out who this deceiver, this physical counterpart of Satan is. Okay? And then when you actually get into like the historical, it's actually in the museum. It's called the Slave Bible, which kept us into just listening to the so-called slave masters at the time, but don't really show the deliverance of Israel. So when I looked into the facts, it was basically 50% was taken out of the Old Testament and 90% of the New Testament, and also the records of the children of Israel being delivered out the book of Exodus. Okay? So, just, that's, just adding on to that public service announcement, making sure this also is edification, bringing out scriptures. Lord willing, I hope this is edifying. So with that being said, again, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. And again, double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who's teaching us truth and sincerity, and also who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. I'm going to close out, say shalom, and on to the next lesson.